So the agenda I put at the top of the chat, we're going to talk about how to set up an account and how to choose an account. We're going to talk about how to set up a meeting and all the variables that are options to you to set up a meeting. We're going to talk about video optimization and how to look good on Zoom and what you can do very low cost to set yourself apart from some of the other folks on Zoom. And then we're going to talk about the chat feature. I even learned something about the chat feature 2 days ago that I didn't know. The breakout sessions. And then I also want to talk about polling and how polling could be used for voting and things like that in your organization. So from there. So, okay. So setting up an account, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. Most everything that we're going to talk about today is going to be using the Zoom tool itself, although some things as a host, I have to show you in a screenshot because you can't see it because you're the attendees. So here's the Zoom, zoom.us is the website. It's, pretty self-explanatory. It's got a lot of really great information that talks about, the different things that they offer. They've ballooned up. They're doing way more than just meetings and chats and things like that. That you can set up conference rooms and phone systems and stuff like that. It is the #1 ranked video conference system in the US right now. So, more than likely people have the software already on their desktop or they're familiar with it. I tell you, if people haven't been on a Zoom since March, we need to check on those people because I'm worried about them. Human connection in some form is just so important nowadays. Some other things about Zoom that I thought were really interesting is that it is, it's a consistent enterprise experience so that you can do it on a desktop, a phone, a tablet. You can do it anywhere you have an internet connection, which is pretty cool given all of the million different devices people have nowadays and browsers they're using and things like that. And you can have up to 1 participant or 1,000 or up to 10,000 for a pro plan. So again, very easy to use, easy to buy, that kind of thing. So clicking on the plans and pricing up here, I would recommend that everybody on this call, if you don't already have one, to set up for a free account. And I'll tell you why in just a second. I'll tell you why in just a second, but the free account really only lets you, you can use your free account to attend Zoom meetings and you can host Zoom meetings, but you only get up to 100 participants and only 40 minutes. So I feel like there's like this weird threshold between 40 minutes and an hour that people are like, oh, I have to get the paid version. So if you sign up for it right now and you pay for a year, you'll see at the top there that you can get 20% off with the Zoom Cares as a code. So if you already have the free account right now and you're looking for the the upgraded account, this is actually cheaper than I paid. So I don't know if they're just trying to help people out, help, that kind of thing. But I would definitely recommend upgrading if you're going to be hosting an event, to be able to have the flexibility of scheduling up to a 2-hour meeting or longer is really important. You also get 1 gigabyte of cloud recording space, so you can actually record your videos in the cloud on Zoom and refer to them later and share the link and things like that. So those are really, I don't think you need this business account unless I'm part of an organization called 100 Plus Women, and there's over 500 members, and they had to have a pro plan or this business plan in order to accommodate the potential of having over 300 participants. But again, that's pretty rare unless you're, doing like a large format webinar or things like that. So I definitely think you could do a free account if you're just wanting to attend Zooms, but if you're going to actually, be hosting Zooms like I am, then I would go for the pro account. So in the free account, I'll just click on, I'm going to show you my account. So you have a couple different things. Again, you have the ability to create a profile image. So then that way, when you would attend a Zoom meeting, if you don't want to have your video on, you could still have a photo of yourself. I actually did an overlay of my logo so that when I cut out my video, you can actually see my business name and my photo together. So again, you can use an app like Canva, or if you want me to do it for you, just shoot it over. I'm happy to overlay that for you. But that's one nice thing. You can also, here, I actually have Tara Ingalls Tingalls graphic design versus just my name. That's a great way to advertise yourself because it shows up in the bottom of your video window. You can put a job title, you can put a company name in there. And then some other stuff down the way here that you'd want to fill in is your time zone. I can't tell you how many times like the time zone doesn't default to where you actually sign up. So if you don't select Central Time and you're on Eastern Time, for example, all of your Zooms will show up and be in the incorrect time. So make sure that that you adjust that you're in this, that you particularly are in the Central Time zone, and that you're presenting from the Central Time zone, so that that makes sense. You can choose your date format and your 24-hour time format. This is cool too. I found this. You can actually configure it with your Gmail or your Microsoft Exchange or your 365, so that when you create an account or when you create an event, it automatically gets put on your calendar. I've been doing this manually since March, and so this is either an upgrade or I completely missed this. But huge, a little time saver there. You can also set up two-factor authentication if you're worried about that. But so that's what you would get with like the basic account. Again, you do have all of the same tools as like setting meetings. I don't think you can do webinars in the free account, but setting meetings and such would be available in that free account. So take note of that Zoom Cares coupon code. Again, will save you 20% if you purchase a whole year at once. Any questions on that? On actually choosing an account or, okay. So scheduling a meeting. Is that a question?
I did have a question. I'm sorry, Melissa Daly with Pharmacology here. Under the free account, for example, I believe it said the meetings could be up to 40 minutes. Is that 40 minutes per month or per week?
Unlimited.
Or
Unlimited. Yeah, so you can have it just so essentially you could set back-to-back Zoom meetings and have them all be 40 minutes. It's just that it shuts it down. Versus like a paid account, for example, if you set an hour-long meeting and you go over that hour-long meeting, it will let you continue. It won't like shut it down.
Tara, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the 40-minute time limit is only for groups of 3 or more. If you're just doing a one-on-one, there's no time limit as long as there's not more than 2 parties. And that, at least that's what it was, unless they've adjusted that, because that was one reason why we went for the pro account, because of the number of team members. But if we're doing individuals, I think you can still do the free account without time constraints as long as there's only 2.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Okay. So if you wanted to have a call with somebody or a sales call or things like that, you could use the free account then. I've just been in the paid account for so long that I don't know what's not available anymore.
There are so many benefits to the paid account. So, but yeah. I'm pretty sure that's still a factor on the other side. They may have changed it, but that's what I've experienced.
Okay.
You're correct.
Awesome.
I'll just say too, this is Catherine Barrett at Rescue Desk. And yeah, the free account has been unlimited for 2 people. And it's been really, super when it's just a small meeting like that.
Okay, excellent. That's good to know. Yeah, I mean, stick with the free version until you need to upgrade. I upgraded because I'm the president of my Madison South Rotary Club, and I needed to run the programs. And so we have over 70 members, and I needed to have an account that could obviously go 90 minutes if needed. So I upgraded pretty early on. So thanks for the input, guys. I appreciate that. All right, so scheduling a meeting, and again, if I miss anything and anyone else that's using Zoom wants to chime in, let's make this collaborative, because I'm no expert. I just have been doing this a lot. So you'll see I have a couple meetings already set up for a couple things that I do. Like I said, the Madison South Rotary, and I've got the Oregon Chamber meeting here that we're working on. And so setting up a meeting is pretty easy, but there are a lot of things to consider when you're setting up a meeting. And again, I'm not sure if when I set up a meeting, you will have all these features in the free account. So Catherine, maybe you could let me know, but you essentially click on schedule a meeting. You're gonna create a title of your meeting. So title goes here, and then you can add a description, and this is optional. But for example, when you set up a Zoom meeting and you want people to register, you can actually create like a little, let me actually see if I can bring it up. Yeah, it's right here. So this is a little page, sort of a little landing page that you can design so that when you have the link and you have registration required, you can just set this up and add some information here. So we'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to show you like where that content goes. Oops. I'm gonna move my windows around. I'm on a laptop here. Okay, so you can, enter whatever you want to enter in here. You can put website links in here and email links and stuff like that. I don't know if you have the ability of actually linking them, but it's mostly just a text box. We're going to talk about templates in a second, so I'm going to jump over that. Obviously, you're going to pick your date. It usually like suggests whatever the next hour is. So like, for example, it's the 19th and it's 12:20 right now. So it's suggesting that, oh, you want to set up a meeting for 1:00. So that would be the default that would be for the calendar. But most people are actually choosing, something in the future. You can pick AM, PM, you can pick duration. Again, here with the free account, I don't know if you can pick that or not, but if you want to go 1 hour and 15 minutes, again, here's your central time zone. You can set it up as a reoccurring meeting, although I've never done that because I don't know how the registration process handles reoccurring meetings, whether it just creates one registration and everybody goes in there or if it's separate. So I haven't figured that one out yet. I just create new ones.
Tara,
yeah.
Tara, this is Jackie C.
Hi, Jackie.
I do I have the reoccurring meetings because I teach on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So the reoccurring meeting, you can actually have as many as you want, but you have to then use that template. You actually have it designated. In other words, I teach a negotiating class. And so that is always on. If I go into any other Zoom meetings, then I can change those too. So you could do a reoccurring meeting. And this has been going on since spring for me. So I guess people can come on. I probably won't be on there unless I'm scheduling a meeting. But my classes go for 3 days in a row. And so I don't have a time that comes on or that it expires. And you can do that in a reoccurring, just so you know.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having like an open door policy or office hours.
Yeah, you can do that for Rotary, for example. You just schedule every Monday from 11:45 or whatever till 1:30, whatever you do.
Well, I was going to do that, but I wanted to be able to.
You don't have to put the date in. You don't have to put the time in. You can just do a regular Rotary meeting.
Got it.
I'm doing that for Optimus. Yeah, I've just made a recurring meeting.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, good.
I haven't run into any issues that I'm aware of.
No. Yeah, no, it's great.
So it looks like you can set it daily, weekly, Monday, whatever, however you want. That's pretty.
You don't set it. You don't set the time on a recurrence. You just let it be blank. You leave it open. You don't have a time or anything.
Okay. Got it. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's like an open door. People can come, but if you're not there, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
So
nice. So with Zoom, I'm sure, I don't know if I would love to know if anyone got Zoom bombed prior to Zoom having increased their security level of their platform because people were creating meetings that didn't have passcodes and they were being harvested and then they were being spammed. And so people from around the world were coming on and doing obscene things and doing whatever. And so I never had that issue because I always had a password or I always had registration like front on the meeting. So I never had that happen. So there's two different ways that you can have security. You can have registration required, which I love because then I get a list of everyone who's attended. And then the other way is to set up a passcode and you can turn your waiting room on or off. I had the waiting room on for this meeting. I don't know why I did that. And it's kind of an annoyance as a presenter to have to let people in and out of the meeting. So I would turn that off. Although like for my 100 plus women, there is a portion where we vote on a nonprofit to donate our funds to. So we put all of the nonprofits in the waiting room while we vote. And then we bring them back. So just think about whether or not that makes sense for you. To me, if I'm coming on a Zoom meeting and I'm right on time, I don't want to wait to have the host let me in. I just want to get in and talk to people. So those are the two different things. And I'm going to require for our testing. I have to turn this recurring part off. So you can choose some other things you can choose. I always want my host and my participants' videos to be on or have accessibility. So I don't know whether or not if you turn off the participants' video in the setup, whether they can turn it on manually or whether I can turn it on. I've just always had it on. And then audio, again, sometimes people have audio issues or their computer doesn't have a microphone. There is the ability to call in and listen on your cell phone and still be on video. So I want that to be available as well. So some of these other meeting options that are here are, allow participants to join anytime. Sometimes, if it's a class or something and you miss the ability to get in right when the teacher says, you might lose the ability to join. I don't know. I've always had that checked. You can mute people upon entry. You can require authentication to join, which just means that they have to have a Zoom account, which is just another level of security for people who are worried about being spammed or things like that. I've also never had that on. And then automatically record the meeting. Again, with the paid account, you get up to 1 gigabyte of space. I download our meetings. So I put them on my local computer and then I upload them to YouTube because then I can edit them. I can take out pieces that I don't want the general public to know, stuff like that. So I choose to download them, but you can also put them in the cloud, which is just saving them on the Zoom server. But it is kind of nice because when it saves the video recordings and it saves all the chats too. So if you ever need to refer to a link in the chat, you can do that. And that's it. So you can set up alternative hosts as well. You can set up, so like Judy and Ida, for example, they are alternate hosts today. I could have put their email addresses in here right off the bat if I would have known their Zoom addresses, but I didn't. So I didn't do that at the time, but that's something you can always add co-hosts later when the meeting starts. All right. So the meeting is set up. It's not out in the world yet. But there's a couple steps and things that once it's set up that you're going to want to do. So you can add it to your calendar. Again, really simple with a click of a button. You can add it to your Google Calendar. Here's your meeting ID. You can actually show the passcode here if you want to copy and paste that. But what this little nifty copy invitation here actually gives you everything that you would need in order to just copy this and send it off. So for example, this particular meeting that I set up, I required registration. Normally, if you don't require registration, what you'll see is you'll see this when it pops up. So you'll see everything that's available to sign up via phone, stuff like that. One word of caution, and I learned this the hard way, is that, oh geez, too many windows open, is that for security purposes, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the two different links. So the link that was up here, this copy invitation link, you could take this link and you could put this on Facebook. You could put it on an email blast or whatever, and it's safe because it requires registration once they click on it. And then when they click on it, it emails them all of that information. Now, if you don't require registration and you want the information right away, you can send that out to people, but I would not recommend that you post that link on Facebook because that's the one where people can just grab the link and go and join your meeting without any registration. So I guess it's kind of up to you how you want to handle that part of it. Okay, so I'm not even looking at my notes. So we've talked about private links, public links, waiting rooms, video, audio options, recording options. Okay, so after the meeting is canceled, something else that you can do is brand this a little bit. So for example, you can, so in order to get this look, I actually uploaded this Oregon Chamber of Commerce logo as a banner. So I just clicked on upload and then I just attached it from my desktop. And then it also gives you some dimensions on here if you want to create a banner or things like that. The logo also is displayed on the right side of the meeting topic. I feel like it's redundant if your logo is in the header, but if you want to have a separate logo, you can do that. Here too is where you're going to set up your polls. So you can do this on the fly. You can set up a poll when you're as a host in a meeting. It's just a little bit more cumbersome. So what I recommend is having the ability to just set up the poll here right away. So you can put a name for it, like, so you can put vote, and then you can put, is Zoom hard? And then you can say yes, no. You only get 10 options, which I found out also recently, but that's pretty easy. So then you can hit add question. And then obviously if we were in the meeting together today, then I could pop up that poll and we could take that poll together. And then the polling screen comes up. Everyone who's not a co-host can submit their vote. Only the hosts see the results, and the host can determine whether they want to show the results or save the results. So you can kind of determine if it's like a, like for example, for my 100 plus women organization, we don't really want to show the organizations. We don't want to show how much votes the winning organization got, so we don't show it. We just announce it. So that's polling kind of ahead of time. Registration also, I want to talk about something that you can do with registration is you can ask questions. So for example, you can automatically approve them. You can manually approve them. You can send an email to the host whenever someone registers. And you can add questions. So you can require their name, their address. You can put number of employees, whatever you want. So I could say, hey, I want to know people that are attending my meeting, where they're from. So if I'm doing something like I know a woman was saying that she was going to do a webinar and she's going to have people from across the United States. She might want to require that they put in the city location in which they're from. Custom questions. So you can add any questions that you want. So you could add, are you a chamber member? Which is a question that we added. And then they can either say yes or no, or they can just put in they can type it in, and you can also choose whether you want it required. And you can add more than one. So you could say, you can't do, if you're a chamber, yes, do you want, or no, do you want information? But if you say, if no, can we email you? And then again, maybe not requiring that one and create that as a question. And then when you're done creating the questions, you hit save all. So you'd want to do this prior to sending out the meeting link, because you want all your attendees to be able to answer the questions, especially if they're questions that the host is going to use in their presentation to help narrow it or make it more user-friendly, whatever. So that's how to create a meeting. Any questions on that? Okay. So some of the other stuff that I thought was kind of cool in here that I thought I would showcase is, let's say you set out those registrants, and you want to be able to, you can either get them one by one by checking the box that says, yes, send me an email every time someone signs up, or at the end of the event, you can actually have to find it here. I think it's under settings. Sorry. Oh, reports. So under account management, you click on reports, and then you can set reports. So for example, in a meeting, I want to view the registration and poll reports for a specific meeting. So for example, this particular meeting, I generated a report already, and I sent it to Judy, so she would have a list of everyone that attended. So she has their name, their email address, and then whether or not they are a chamber member or not. So for her, that could be a great opportunity to increase her email subscriber list, or send out membership information, whatever you want to do. But this is something new that I also recently found just by playing around with it. Honestly, some of this other stuff, I don't know a lot about it. I know that for something called breakout rooms, which I'll talk about in a second, you can pre-assign breakout rooms based on what people sign up for. So let's say you're doing a webinar and you've got a marketing panel or a marketing room and a sales room and whatever, ABC rooms. People can select in their meeting registration, which room they want to join. So then you're not like doing it manually that day, which can be kind of a nightmare. So that's something to kind of consider as well. I think that's everything that I wanted to show in there, but I wanted to show some screenshots of things that you may or may not know about it. So let me try to open this quick. Okay, so you probably already know that there are two different views when watching. Let me share this again. There's two different views when watching. I'm gonna move the thumbnails. Hide sidebar. Okay, so there's two different views when watching Zoom. You can either do participant or like I think it's called gallery view, or you can do speaker view. So up in the upper right hand corner, you'll see there's like a little view toggle, like right up in this area. That's where you would change that. So if you want to be able to see everyone that's in the room, sometimes, for example, the host can spotlight a video. So when I spotlighted myself as a video, I'm going to showcase as the main video, and my screen will showcase as the main screen. And then you can toggle as you need to. But those are two things that that's one thing that I wanted to show people is they didn't know that. That's good to communicate that when you're a host, is to let people know, hey, if you're only seeing yourself or you want to see certain people, you can look at the gallery view. The other cool thing with gallery view is you can move people around now. So in Zoom 5.4, if you want to move all your friends to the first page so you can see them during the Zoom, you can do that, which is kind of fun. So this is the host also on this screen. I just want to show you, this is what the host sees when they're doing their Zoom. So they have the ability to mic themselves, to adjust their video. Not sure what the security thing is. They can click on participants, and then all the participants will show. And I believe as a viewer, you can do that as well. So you could see all the people that are there. This one is the chat feature. This is to share your screen. This is for polling. And then this is your record button, so I can stop and start my record. Here's how you do breakout rooms. And I've got a couple screenshots on that. And then emojis. So as a viewer, you have more emojis than I do. So you have 5 emoji choices and I only have 2. But that's kind of fun to play with the emojis. So here's the breakout rooms, pretty simple. You click the breakout button and you can assign manually, or you can let people choose. So you could create 5 breakout rooms. That's what I'm saying, like doing this on the fly might be a little clunky, but you could assign 5 breakout rooms and you could let people choose. And then when you open the rooms, people can choose, or they have to accept if you've automatically assigned them a room. Breakout rooms are awesome. Breakout rooms are like the new table talk conversations during networking meetings. It's a great way for people to meet each other, to exchange business cards. I wouldn't make the rooms too small. That's one thing is you run out of conversation when there's only like 4 people in the room or 5 people. So I'd have the rooms be pretty good chunk size, like 8 to 10 people, things like that. You can also chat with people when they're in their breakout room. So if you want to pose questions or you want to say, hey, breakout rooms are closing in a minute, you can chat with them. So that's kind of cool. Here's the polling feature, which I already showed you. I didn't know that would come through. And that's just the platform again. So those are just some of the screenshots of like the polling and how to set that up. So I wanted to show those to you. How do I stop this? Where's my dashboard? I don't know how to stop the screen sharing. Oh, there we go. So, okay, so that is how to use the software. And I know you're all waiting to know how I got this amazing lighting on my face and why I'm not in a dark room. And I will tell you that the reason is that I am in front of a window. So that my biggest tip is to get in front of a window, folks, if you can. But I know a lot of people are in their basements nowadays. So, having a window isn't always, available. something that you can get. So what I'd encourage you to do, I'm going to put a link in the chat, because you could just buy a ring light. I mean, I figure, for $30, $40, if you could just get a ring light, you could position the ring light right over your computer. And I have a ring light like this that I use, that I can change it, whether it's daytime, nighttime. I can change the way that the light comes in, whether it's really bright or whether it's not really bright. So I would say if you don't have the availability to shine light on your face in some way, try to get in front of a window. Try not to stand in, do not sit in front of a window with the window behind you. So that's one thing I know that is really hard to get around sometimes, because your desk is just situated. But, for the way things are right now, put your desk in front of the window. I mean, I'd rather look out than look at my wall. So that's my first tip, is to get some light on your face. I'm going to show you something else too that's really cool. So underneath the, I don't think I shared this as a screenshot. There's other little tips and tricks. Of course, I'm not going to find it now. So on your Zoom screen, if you're on the desktop view, over on the video on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little up arrow. So hover over the little video where it says stop video, and hover over and click on that little arrow. So a couple things come in. The first is the camera that you've selected for your video. The second item is a choose virtual background. And then the third item is choose video filter. So choose video filter is actually only available if you have Zoom 5.4. So that is the funny filters that you get when you want to add cool sunglasses, or you're talking to your grandkids and you want to act like a piggy. You can do that.
Is the 5.4 an automatic update that happens?
It is not.
It's not. You have to update it manually?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sure. So here I wanted to show you, here's the ring light. I got that up on my, if you didn't see it. So there's 3 different colors that you can choose. It's not just for teeny boppers, people. It is for professionals that want good lighting. So here's that setting. So when you hover over it and you choose virtual settings, video filters, you can choose virtual backgrounds, which I'm sure you've seen, and people do this all the time. Who recognizes this background? Who's in the background there?
It's The Office.
It's Stanley from The Office. So video filters are kind of fun, and you can play with those. If you're a Snapchat fan like I am, I play with these a lot. Here's my Parisian beret. Okay, here's something that's also really cool, is studio effects. So let's say you just woke up and you're just about to get on Zoom and you forgot to do your eyebrows, ladies. Check this out. Oh, I want a bigger arch. Okay, there's my arch. Oh, but I don't want them to be brown. I want them to be blue. And then I want lip color on, because I forgot to put lipstick on. You can change the opacity here, and you can do some fun things. You can even give yourself some facial hair if you're inclined, which is kind of fun. And you can automatically, this is beta, which means that they're just testing it out now, but you can automatically include that to all future meetings. So if you always want to have blue eyebrows, facial hair, like a 5 o'clock shadow like this, you can do that. So those are some ways you can add pizzazz to, I like some of these are kind of fun. It just sets you apart, from everyone else that's in there. And I just think it can, add something to your personality. You can be funny. You can be like, what was that? What did you say? Didn't quite hear that. So those are filters.
Tara. Yeah.
We
have a question in the chat. They can't find the button. Can you review that again?
So it's different. It's in your video area. So I don't think it will let me share my actual Zoom meeting screen. Let me see. So it's right here. Okay, the other tip before I forget is to try to prop your computer up to be eye level with you. I can't tell you how many Zooms I've been to where it's like that. Excuse me. So you can go to the dollar store and buy a wire shelf, and then you can prop it up and you can get it to shoot down. It's just a more flattering look. And you're not looking up your nose then. That is all I have for you. So I hope that you got one or two little tips from that. Again, I welcome any questions you have, or if anyone that's using the platform has any other tips or tricks, I'd love to hear them myself. Just because I'm on this all day. No one? Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you will, my goal for you is to try to use the emojis in your next meeting. Try to use the chat filter or the chat feature in your meetings. One little tidbit. So the chat feature little tip that I got is that if you, let's say if you're in a meeting and I was just in this meeting and everyone was posting in the chat website links of their favorite like web tools. And I was like, oh, can you send the chat out? Can you send the chat out after? Right next to the chat, there's 3 little dots in a little window, and you can save the chat if you click on those 3 little dots. Excuse me. And then you have your own personal version of the chat. And be careful what you chat about, because it's all in there. But yeah, so my goal for you would be to try to use the emojis, have a little bit of fun, use the chat as your own personal, way of waving across the room. I mean, I try when I join chat, I privately message as many people as I know, just saying, hey, great to see your face. How are you, managing these things? I also screenshot the participant list, and I screenshot the meetings every once in a while just so that I can go back and link up with those people. Don't stop the behaviors that you would normally have in a networking group just because you're online now. Do the same behaviors. Link up with people, try to schedule coffees, show your personality, stuff like that. So try to get the most out of the Zoom meetings when you can, because it's the new networking, at least in the short term right now. So
Definitely good to know.
yeah. Well, thank you all so much. My contact information is at the top of the chat. I'll paste it again here for you. Again, I welcome any questions that you guys have. I think Judy's going to send this out. So if you need to reference back to anything, I'll be uploading this to YouTube so you can reference it. And yeah, have a great day. Zoom on.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.